In this moment, I find myself at a crossroads between my own desires and the need for understanding, trying to meet you halfway with an open heart, despite the fear of losing myself in the process. There are times when love calls for sacrifice, where my thoughts wrestle with my emotions. But in order to create harmony, I find myself willing to compromise, knowing it's a step toward greater connection. Compromise doesn't mean giving up my values. It means finding a path where we can walk side by side, each step echoing with mutual respect and understanding. Sometimes, the deepest connections are formed not through perfection, but through the courage to bend a little, to meet halfway, and to respect where the other person stands. I find myself struggling between the urge to hold on to my beliefs and the desire to make this work, knowing that compromise might be the key to bridging the gap between us. Compromise is never easy, especially when it feels like you're losing parts of yourself. But sometimes it's the only way to build something stronger than you could on your own. In the silence of our differences, I hear the call for balance, a plea for both of us to adjust, to stretch, and to meet that in the middle where love grows. I've learned that compromising isn't about defeat. It's about finding mutual ground where both of us can thrive while still honoring the essence of who we are. The struggle of compromise often feels like walking a tightrope, but in the end, it's the only way to reach a place of peace where both our hearts can be at rest. At the intersection of my thoughts and feelings, I see the possibility of compromise, not as a loss, but as an act of love and trust, a way to create something deeper. As I sift through my emotions, I recognize that compromise doesn't diminish who I am. It enhances the connection we share, allowing both our voices to be heard. In relationships, compromise is the quiet strength that supports us when the storms of doubt arise, reminding us that understanding is more powerful than winning. In the dance of connection, compromise is the rhythm that allows us to move together, even when our steps don't align perfectly. I thought my way was the only way, but as my heart softens, I see that compromise doesn't take away from who I am. It allows me to grow alongside you. The road to understanding isn't always clear, but I'm learning that compromise is the bridge that connects the parts of us that once felt too far apart. When I look at you, I realize that compromise isn't about changing who I am. It's about adapting in ways that honor both of our truths. I think about the times I've held firm, and yet there's something beautiful about the vulnerability in compromise, the willingness to bend without breaking. In the delicate balance of our relationship, I see that compromise is a dance, a subtle shift in direction that leads to deeper understanding and connection. Even in the face of uncertainty, compromise feels like an invitation to growth, a chance to embrace our differences and still find a way to belong to each other. In the quiet moments of reflection, I realize that compromise isn't a surrender, but an invitation to be more open, more flexible, and more attuned to the needs of those we love. Sometimes, compromise feels like a loss, but it's only in the giving that we find a deeper connection, one that is rooted in respect and mutual care. Compromise is not about abandoning your truth. It's about finding the courage to meet someone else's truth halfway, with kindness and an open heart. The power of compromise lies in its ability to unite us, to transform our differences into something stronger, something that can withstand the challenges of time. At the heart of compromise is the unspoken promise to honor each other's feelings and needs, creating a space where both can thrive together. Compromise is not a weakness, it's a strength that shows up when we choose to prioritize the connection over the ego, when we choose to grow together. In every moment of compromise, there's a quiet strength that emerges, a willingness to bend without breaking, to give without losing yourself. Compromise doesn't always come easily, but it's through this effort that we learn the true meaning of partnership, where both sides are valued and understood. As I face the decision to compromise, I remind myself that love is not about perfection, but about the willingness to grow together, even when it means adjusting along the way. When we compromise, we don't lose. We expand, creating space for both of us to be seen, heard, and respected without giving up what makes us who we are. In this journey of love, I'm discovering that compromise is not about giving up what matters, but about finding the courage to adjust in ways that make our bond stronger.